the house where goodbye never happened. When the police finally broke down the front door of Daniel Whitmore's house, they found 4 dinner plates on the table. 3 of them contained fresh, warm food. Only 1 had been eaten. The officers searched every room. The house was empty, except for Daniel. He was sitting in the living room, smiling gently at the empty sofa. "They're sleeping," he whispered. "Please don't wake my family." The officers exchanged nervous glances. There was no family. There hadn't been one for nearly 3 years. 3 years earlier, Daniel Whitmore had lived the happiest life he could imagine. He loved his wife, Claire, more than anything in the world. Their 2 children, Emma and Noah, filled the little blue house with endless laughter. Every Sunday, they cooked breakfast together. Every Friday, they watched movies with popcorn. Every summer, they drove to the lake. Life wasn't perfect, but it was enough. One snowy December evening, everything changed. Daniel stayed late at work to finish an urgent project. Claire decided to drive the children to visit her parents without him. "I'll meet you there in an hour," Daniel promised. She smiled. "We'll save you dessert." Those were the last words she ever spoke to him. 43 minutes later, a truck lost control on an icy bridge. Daniel arrived at the hospital before the ambulance. He waited for hours. Doctors ran through the emergency room. Nurses avoided looking into his eyes. Finally, a surgeon approached. "I'm sorry." Daniel remembered hearing those words. He simply refused to believe them. "They're alive." "No, you've made a mistake." The doctor lowered his head. Daniel walked away. He never attended the funeral because in his mind, there hadn't been one. The next morning, Daniel woke to the smell of pancakes. Claire was humming softly in the kitchen. Emma was arguing with Noah about cereal. Everything looked perfectly normal. Daniel smiled. "I knew it," he whispered. "I knew they came home." From that day forward, life continued exactly as before. Every morning, Claire made breakfast. Every evening, the children laughed in the garden. Every night, Daniel kissed his wife goodnight. Neighbors became worried. They often saw Daniel talking alone. Sometimes he pushed an empty swing for hours. Sometimes he carried invisible shopping bags into the house. Sometimes he laughed during conversations that nobody else could hear. People said grief had destroyed his mind. Daniel ignored them. "They're jealous," he told Claire. "They can't see what I see." Claire smiled. "They simply don't believe." But strange things soon began happening. Every photograph inside the house slowly changed. At first, Daniel thought he imagined it. One picture showed Claire smiling beside him. A week later, she had disappeared from the photograph. Another week, Emma faded, then Noah. Eventually, Daniel stood alone in every picture. He bought new frames. The same thing happened again. Then came the voices, not the voices of his family, other voices, soft whispers drifting through empty rooms. "They aren't real. Let them go. You're trapped." Daniel covered his ears. Claire held his hand. "Don't listen." One stormy night, the electricity failed. Only candlelight remained. Daniel heard laughter upstairs, his children's laughter. He smiled and climbed the stairs. Halfway up, the laughter suddenly changed. It became crying, then screaming. He ran toward Emma's bedroom. The room was empty, cold, covered in dust. The toys were gone. The bed had disappeared. Daniel blinked. When he turned around, the hallway looked different. Old wallpaper peeled from the walls, cobwebs covered the ceiling. Every room looked abandoned, as though nobody had lived there for years. Then he heard Claire's voice. "Daniel." He followed it downstairs. She stood beside the front door. For the first time, she was crying. "You have to leave." "No, I'm staying with you." Claire slowly shook her head. "You aren't staying with us. You've been keeping us from leaving." Daniel stepped backward. "What?" Her voice broke. "We've been trying to say goodbye for 3 years." His world collapsed. "No, I couldn't leave you." Claire smiled sadly. "You never did." The next morning, Daniel visited the cemetery for the very first time. 3 simple white stones stood beneath an old oak tree. Fresh flowers covered them. Someone had continued bringing flowers every week, even though Daniel never had. He slowly knelt. His hands trembled. "I'm sorry." A warm breeze moved through the trees. For just a second, he heard Emma laughing, Noah calling his name, Claire whispering, "We love you." Then, silence. Daniel returned home. The house felt painfully quiet. No breakfast, no laughter, no tiny footsteps, only memories. That evening, he packed away the children's toys, folded Claire's clothes, opened every curtain, allowed sunlight to enter the house for the first time in years. Neighbors watched in surprise. Something had changed. Daniel finally smiled at them, a real smile. Months later, life slowly became lighter. He volunteered at a children's hospital. He repaired bicycles for local families. He planted a small garden in memory of Claire. Although the pain never disappeared, it no longer controlled him. Years later, Daniel sold the old blue house. The new owners moved in with 2 young children. One evening, the little girl ran downstairs. "Mom, there's a beautiful lady upstairs." Her mother laughed. "What did she look like?" "She smiled at me, and she said..." The little girl looked toward the staircase. "Thank you for bringing laughter back to our home." That night, the house was finally silent, not because it was empty, but because, at last, goodbye had happened.